Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's Russell with Ink and Paper Blog. I hope you are all doing very well today. I'm coming to you today with my July wrap-up. I know I said in my Ramblings with Russell video that I was kind of having a slow reading month. And I kind of did, but I actually got through 7 books, so I can't complain really in the long run. But I definitely read a lot of really good books, so I'm actually excited to tell you guys about all of them. And I will get started by just mentioning the first one, and that's Hunger by Roxane Gay. Now, you guys know I just did a whole video on Roxane Gay, and I have a giveaway going on this video that is for one more week. Actually, probably a week and a half, really. So if you have a chance, I'm going to link the video below so that you can go take a look at it. But Hunger by Roxane Gay is a memoir where she talks about her body and sort of what has led her to be the woman that she is. She talks about being raped when she's 12 years old and how then she decided to eat and use her body as a way to protect herself from men and sort of what she was worried would be done to her. She talks about being fat in America. She talks about our culture and how we don't really have a way of accepting people who don't meet a certain norm, and she will tear your heart out and she will put it back together. I highly recommend the audiobook because she reads it, so it's basically like her giving you her own story. So that's Hunger by Roxane Gay, and if you want to hear some more about her, I'll link my Roxane Gay video below. The next book I'm going to tell you about is The Regional Office is Under Attack by Manuel Gonzales. And this is the only book that I didn't really care for that I read this month. And that's because this book, I'm just going to tell you, the back of it suggests that it is about an office of superhero women who are under attack and they tend to save the world and how their regional office is being attacked. I thought there would be superhero women. There kind of are, but it's not anything about that. There are two main characters, Rose, who is on the team invading the regional office. You get a lot about her backstory, sort of her troubled youth, how she got involved in the group that attacks the regional office. And then Sarah, who works in the regional office, who has a mechanical arm. You learn about her mother and what spawns her to become part of the regional office and her defense of that and sort of the kind of the attack back and forth. It's a lot of flashbacks that show you how everything has reached to the point where it is. It's kind of clever at points because it's like a history lesson that's being taught throughout. So you read sort of like this article that's being written about the history of the regional office. I just wanted it to be more of a superhero romp, and I kind of got bored with how it was going. I found it a bit predictable. So it just didn't work for me. That's The Regional Office is Under Attack by Manuel Gonzales. The next book I'm going to tell you about is Everyone's an Alien When You're an Alien Too by Jomny. How cute is this? This is a little graphic novel that I just read. It's super fast, and let me just go here and show you how cute the art is. It's very simple. This is the story of an alien that comes to Earth, and his whole intent and purpose is to study humans. And the first human he meets is a tree. And he learns about sort of the cycle of life. He learns about friendship. He learns about developing relationships. Because in his alien culture, they don't have any of these things. And his culture feels like he's failing in his study when he's actually very much learning some great life lessons. They leave him here. He learns a lot about the culture, and there's just some really great little lessons. I think this is a great book to read to children because the art is super simple, super fun, and then it has like just sort of these like sentences like, maybe the reason why we don't know is because it was so wonderful that nobody ever thought to turn around and tell us. I mean, it's just this idea of maybe we don't understand the world because if you just look forward and enjoy the situation, and you can have conversations with kids about it. It talks about being alone, it talks about nothing, it talks about how important sometimes empty space is. It's really well done, and I highly recommend Everyone's an Alien When You're an Alien Too by Jomny. I would not have gotten this if it wasn't for Ryan over this charming rant, because he told me to buy this when we went to see Sherman and Alexi together, and I am really glad I did. The next book I'm going to tell you about, I had mentioned in my video Rambling with Russell, rambling with Russell, and that's Binti by Nnedi Okorafor. Now, she did this whole thing about how to pronounce her name on Twitter, and I really apologize. I really tried to learn because her name is just beautiful. So when she's from Nigeria, I believe. Let me just take a moment and look that up, because I'm pretty sure she is. And let's just take a moment. Yes, she's Nigerian. Nigeria is producing some amazing authors right now. Her, Adambami Adebayo, who wrote, and that I just butchered her name, so I am so sorry, who wrote Stay With Me, which was a fantastic novel. Everything by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. So Nigeria producing strong female novelists that are just rocking my world. Binti is a sci-fi novella. It's the story of a young girl named Binti who is the first from her clan to be accepted into this very exclusive university in space. Her people do not tend to leave Earth. They tend to stay in one place. She's the first one to make this decision. And it's a big decision. She's never been away from home. So you have that. You also have the fact that her family, she's dealing with the idea that her family won't accept that she can go to the school and that she's going to disappear. On the trip to the vessel she's on is attacked by another alien race, and it sort of has that section of sort of intermingling between species, not understanding each other, then learning to understand each other. What I will say is in 90 some odd pages, she creates an entire character, an entire backstory, an entire culture that you are fascinated with, that I so much that Saturday morning I left and went and bought the second book immediately. And I think it's fantastic. And that's Binti by Nnedi Okorafor. And that cover is just gorgeous, don't you think? It's just beautiful. Okay. The next book I'm going to tell you about, and I'm going to flip through here, is The Arrival by Shaun Tan. Now, this book was recommended to me when I did my immigrant fiction video, and I asked for suggestions, and someone said that this was their favorite book about the immigrant experience. And this is a graphic novel that has no words. It's all done in pictures, and it's the story of a man who leaves his family to start a new life in another country. And without saying a word, tells the tale of how hard it is to leave your family, how hard it is to get to a new country and not have the things that were promised you, to build a life for people you love that you may not be able to see again. And the art is so beautiful. Let me see if I can get this up there for you. It is gorgeous. And the world's created, and without saying a word, he breaks your heart, because this man is trying so hard and doesn't know if he's ever going to get his family to where he is. And I don't know, it's so good. And in just a few brief pictures, he tells the story of many, many different people, many different experiences, and it's all done in these very beautiful pictures, sort of the sepia tone throughout. I loved this book. So that's The Arrival by Shaun Tan. If you don't have it, I highly recommend getting a copy. It's beautiful. You can keep it as a coffee table book. If you don't want to spend the money, go to your library, request that your library buy it, because a lot of people should read it, and you should definitely too, because it's phenomenal. The next book I'm going to tell you about, I kind of mentioned, was the book that kind of slowed me down a little bit, and that's Florence and Ecstasy by Jessie Chaffee. This book is the story of Hannah. Hannah is a young woman who is suffering from an eating disorder so badly that it causes her to have issues at work. She loses her job. She's given a 3-month severance and decides the way that she's going to recover is she moves to Florence, and she's going to try to recover there. And she has to deal with her eating disorder, her body dysmorphia, how she feels about herself, her own self-image. I find it... This book did something for me that was fantastic. It made me feel what it was like to be inside the head of a person who suffers from an eating disorder so vividly, so powerfully, that at times my heart was racing and I couldn't figure out a way for the character to get out of the situation, and I was worried that she never would get out of a situation, and I didn't know what was going to happen next. I had to put the book down because Jessie Chaffee is that strong of a writer. This is kind of a funny sort of side story about myself. I used to be a much bigger guy. Few years ago, I lost quite a bit of weight, about 1/3 of my body weight. And, but in my head, still to this day, I see myself that same way. And it's one of those things that you know as a person you work on. Jessie Chaffee put that in a book for the first time ever for me. The character of Hannah suffers from this idea of what she looks like to herself versus what she looks like to everyone else. And the way that it is written is so powerful and so involving. Then you have Florence, who is an entire character in this book. The country is beautiful. It is so well described that you feel like you are there. And I'm going to spend some time talking about this book because I really think you guys should read it. The other thing is Hannah gets sort of involved and studies the lives of the saints that she runs into around Florence. And it's sort of this history that Italy has with these saints and their churches. And she reads books about the mystic saints. I think that's the word, mystical? Mystic? I can't remember exactly. And their lives and what they did to themselves for their spiritual development. And it is so integrated and beautifully woven together as a story that I was like, oh God, I need to go get a book about St. Catherine, and I need to understand, and I need to fly to Florence tomorrow because it's clearly the most beautiful city I've never been to, but I feel like I've been there now. This book is so good. It's a tough read. It's a dense read. So you cannot fly through this book because she definitely will get you in there. You have to read every word, but it is so worth the time. So that's Florence and Ecstasy by Jessie Chaffee. This is another book by Unnamed Press. I've told you guys, this is the 4th book I've read by them. All of them have been fantastic. I'm a super supporter of them. So I'm not sponsored by them, just love them. And so I highly recommend this book. And I would love to know if any of you have read it. So I'll tell you that in a minute. The next 2 books I'm going to tell you about aren't coming out for a little bit. One comes out in September and one comes out in January of 2018. And you'll be like, Russell, why tell me about books that I can't get? Because here's what I want you to do. If either of these books are something you're interested in, I need you to put them on your Goodreads want to read list, because what Goodreads will do is it will send you an email that lets you know if there are any giveaways of the book before it comes out, and you can enter, and maybe you'll win and you'll get the book early and you'll get to read it and you'll get it for free, or maybe you won't, but you'll at least know that you wanted to read it. And I think it's always fun to enter those giveaways. I've never won one, but you know, people do. I know that Lindsay over at the Wandering Reader has won a couple, and that's fantastic, and it's a way to get books before they come out. And so let me tell you about 2 of them, and I really want you to, both of these are fantastic. The first is The Child Finder by Rene Denfield. That is not a great view. So I was sent an electronic copy of this book early by HarperCollins, so thank you very much. You guys know, if you've listened to me in the past, Rene Denfield wrote the book The Enchanted, which happens to be one of my absolute favorite books. And I've talked about it a lot, and I probably will do a video where I actually bring the book in and show it to you. But this is her new book. She'll be touring starting September. Look her up. Go listen to her because this book is so good. This is the story of Naomi. Naomi is a woman who is hired to find children who have been missing for long periods of time or not are thought to be totally gone. And she is really good at her job, but it comes at a price because she is always working to hunt for children, so she doesn't have sort of those relationships with other people. You learn very quickly in the start of the novel that Naomi was found herself. She was picked up by a group of people in the wilderness and taken in, and she can't remember the first years of her childhood. And she has sort of this inward guilt that something happened. She doesn't know what it is, so she doesn't allow herself to create relationships. On top of that, you have the story of this family who has lost their daughter, and it's been some time, years actually, and they don't want to give up on their daughter, so they hire her and they ask her to find their child. So she does that, and that's the point. You know, the point is for her to find this kid. What's really fascinating is that the child herself has her own sections and has created this fairy tale for her life of how she came into being to be where she's at. And she, what she does is she pretends she's the snow child. And if you guys know the fairy tale of the snow child, it's the story of the woman, of the family that, or the couple who can't have children, so they build a child out of snow and it comes to life. She kind of creates a sort of pseudo version of that for herself. So it has this very fairy tale aspect to cope with the situation she is in. As Naomi is hunting for this young girl, you learn about her past. She also solves another missing child incident, which was a heartbreaking short sort of sidetrack, and then you were like, what? And then it was over and you couldn't get past it. It was so good. And the twist and turn at the end of this book, you will not see it coming. I'm telling you right now, Rene Denfield is fantastic. Naomi is a fantastically well-rounded, complicated character. The people that she interacts with are so good. And I've been talking a long time, and I really want you to read this book, and that's The Child Finder by Rene Denfield. And please, I'll link it below. Pre-order it, look for her to come, and then go see her, because she's fantastic. And then the last book I'm going to tell you about is The Immortalist by Chloe Benjamin. This is the story, and I'm not going to give too much away. This book doesn't actually come out until January of 2018, but definitely put it on your list so that you guys get an early copy if you can enter the giveaways or get it when it comes out, because oh my goodness, you guys. So this is the story of the Gold Children. There are 4 of them. And when they're very young, they go to a woman who tells the fortunes, fortune teller woman. And basically she tells all of them when they're going to die. And you have Simon. I'll call Simon the dancer. You have, I want to say Carla, but that's not right. It's like Clara. K-L-A-R-A, I believe. Clara, who I'll say is the magician. You have Daniel, the doctor, and Vira. How would you say that name? V-A-Y-R-A. Vira? Vara. V-A-R-Y-A. She is the scientist. They're each told differently when they're going to pass. And this book is not so much about looking at death as how you choose to live. And each of the children chooses a different path. And the book partly takes place in San Francisco during the AIDS crisis. It's so good. It travels to Las Vegas. It takes place partly on the East Coast. It talks about school and science, and it has so many layers, and every character is so well fleshed out that you will definitely, at the end of the book, ask yourself, which character am I? What would I do? If you knew you were going to die in 2 weeks, what kind of life you would live? If you knew you were going to live to be 85, what decisions would you make then? Does it change the way you live? Should you live, if you know that you're going to live forever, should you live just like the person who knows they're only going to live 2 weeks? It made me think so much. This cover is gorgeous, by the way, don't you think? And I loved it. I liked it so much I went and bought Chloe Benjamin's first book because I think she's an author to watch. And that's The Immortalists, and it is so, so good. And put it on your radar. I'll try to remind you guys in January when it's coming out. It's excellent. So that's it. Those are the books I read in July. Have you guys read any? Let's talk about them below. I would love to discuss them. If you're going to get any of them, I'd love to talk about that too. As always, if you are a return watcher, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. If you are new to my channel, thank you. Subscribe above. I hope you guys like this video, and I will talk to you again soon. Until later, happy reading, and we'll talk later. Bye.